I'm pleased to say we're joined by the voice, Russ Bray. Russ, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Absolute pleasure. Thanks ever so much, Alex. Yeah, I'm doing really, really well. Thank you. Lots of bits and pieces going on, so pretty exciting.
Yeah, lots of bits and pieces going on. We are talking during the World Championships, but we've got to start with the news that broke around 3 weeks ago, the announcement that you're not stepping down, retiring from refereeing, but you're going to be taking a back seat as a full-time referee. Has the phone stopped with all the messages yet?
Yep. I'll sign a contract for the next 3 years as an ambassador for the PDC. In which case I will be doing the Asian tour, which I've been a part of since it started, and I also will be doing some of the World Series. So I'll still be on TV, on ITV, on those ones, in Bahrain, New York, and Australia, New Zealand. So it'll be more of an ambassador role for the rest of the year. So I'm stepping down from all the major tournaments like the World Championships, the match play, Grand Prix, Premier Leagues, and all that sort of thing. So it'll give me more time to get my teeth stuck into finding other people, finding other players from around the world.
Yeah, it sounds like you're still going to be pretty busy in the ambassador role. But as far as you mentioned there, you're stepping down from covering the major tournaments in the PDC, something you said you'd been thinking about for some time. So why did you make the decision to do that now?
Well, the thing, I'm 66 now, so I'm not a youngster anymore. I'm going to stop this, or stop the actual refereeing like this, at the very, very top. So the 2024 World Championship, we're going to call the final. I can stop at the very, very top of my career. And it's time now, this is my 28th World Championship, so I've been doing it a long time. There's a lot of youngsters coming through that are absolutely amazing. Charlie Cortherstein, I think, will be stepping in my shoes, or filling in the space that I'm going to leave. Tall, good-looking young lad from Essex, great voice, great counter, and when you look at that, and you've got your other guys that are there in Kurt Bevins, Hugh Ware, who's come on absolute leaps and bounds, and Georgie Noble, who obviously is an iconic referee in his own right. It's all in good hands within that. It's time for me to just wind down now, due to my age and evolution, I think they call it, where things are going forward. So, it's the right time for me as well. I'd actually thought about this and made the comment to the PDC 18 months ago. So, in respects of doing it then, now it's come to fruition.
What a career it's been. You mentioned there 28 World Championships in the PDC. You joined the organisation 1996. You've called 17 nine-dart finishes on TV, including the first one on live PDC competition, that one with Phil Taylor. But one moment I wanted to talk to you about from last year's event, something you've probably not seen before, was Gerwyn Price coming onto stage mid-game with the headphones. You were the referee for that game. What was your reaction when you saw him with the headphones on?
Well, it's funny because before that I was informed that Gerwyn would be coming on with ear defenders. But I thought it'd be like the things you actually put in your ear, like Merc English, the things you put in your ear to cut the noise out. But when he came on with like these proper ear defenders, which they look like earphones on, because bearing in mind you're not allowed to wear headgear, which obviously it's not headgear, but they are proper defenders. Well, as I say, it was strange to say the least. It was strange to say the least, but they didn't last long. So it sort of made a bit of a comment, made a bit of a statement, and he took them off. So it was certainly different. Certainly different.
Yeah. Well, let's get on to yourself and this year. You mentioned about the Asian tour that's come back this year after a few years off with the pandemic. What's it been like seeing that tour get back up and running this year?
Absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you what, it's a great thing to do. You're going out to these fantastic countries in Asia and seeing the darting talent. And believe you me, there's a talent out there. The talent is good in depth now. It's starting to creep there. We've seen a couple of boys this week at the Worlds. Do very, very well. I thought the Filipino boys would have done a bit better, if I'm being honest, and I'm sure they feel the same because they are probably the best players in Asia. But seeing how they go, Kevin Leung was absolutely sensational in his game, and it was so good to see. And Goto from Japan, Again, fantastic in what they've done. Watch out for these boys because they'll come up and they'll creep up on everybody, and in the end, you'll find someone, or we will find someone that will really, really contend at the very, very highest level. And once you do that, once you find one, the way Asia is built, the way the Asians are, I find one that you'll find 6 or 7 because that's what happens in snooker, happens in golf, and that's their way, that's their mentality. So the Asian tour is really, really exciting thing to be involved.
Yeah, some of the names you touched on there, Man Lok Lung, the 11 180s on his debut, Tomoya Goto winning on his debut as well. When you see those players go up there, you've watched them close up on the Asian tour and they're going up on that big stage and performing so well. Is it almost like a proud dad moment for you when you see them doing so well?
Not half. I mean, when the kids have come off the stage there, they'll come and give me a big cuddle and, they got through. Yeah, it is, because like I say, I've seen these guys, sort of, 24 tournaments a year we do. And, see them at each tournament. Plus, you've got the Asian Championships, 25 tournaments, effectively. It's fantastic, You do get a bond with the players. And, you do want them to do very, very well. It's part of me being involved with the Asian tour. It sort of reflects back that way as well. So it's absolutely terrific, you know what I mean? And they're lovely, lovely guys as well. They really are good fellas.
Yeah, it's great to see, and we don't want to look too far ahead, but you mentioned you are going to be calling the final of the World Championship. We're still talking the first and the second round going on. Have you pictured what that night's going to be like, that final World Championship, your 14th final, and only Bruce Spendley's refereed more than you?
Oh, right. Well, that I didn't know. It's a stat I didn't know. I'm obviously looking forward to it. It's always an exciting thing to do. The World Final, for sure. Mixed emotions, really. Yeah, a little bit sad that it'll be my very last one. But I'm really, really excited for the future. So like I've been saying to people, that will actually close that chapter. And then I will start the next chapter in January. I haven't closed the book, so I'm not totally out of the game altogether. So I've got more excitement about looking forward, obviously, to the coming years, as well as calling the final.
Definitely, and nowadays we see with the referees it's a bit more smart casual with the polo shirts. Back in the day we had the suits. Are you going to pull out the suit for the final?
No, I don't think so. No, I shall be as is. It's a lovely thing that obviously it's my last final when I'm going to be calling it. But to be honest, it's the World Championship final. It's all to do with the players as opposed to me as the rep. I'm still just a rep in that sense. You've got a guy who's going to go up there, who's going to be world champion and win £500,000. At the end of the day, I am still just a rep that's going to be calling that particular game. So, no, nothing changes on that one.
And it's probably nicer as well just to have the polo shirts, because we watch back some of those old clips and you're wearing the suits. It must have been very hot wearing that on stage as well.
You ain't kidding. Not hot, very, very hot. I mean, it was one time that we were certainly in Blackpool. On stage got to something like 41 degrees. It was incredible. And we called in, we had to end up calling just in shirt sleeves, which I think very much prompted the way that we're dressed today.
And a few things I've been meaning to ask you. Some of our listeners are coming with some questions as well, but we know with the footballers back in the day, they might insure their legs when they're playing football. Did you ever insure your voice, as you're one of the most iconic voices there is in the game? No, never done it. People have mentioned it. I've never actually done it, if I'm being honest. I'm being 100% sure. I'm not sure if I could. I really don't know. I've never looked into it, and it's never something that I've really, really thought about, if I'm being honest. Fair enough. Well, that 180 call, it is iconic in the game. Is there any place you can think of, the strangest place where someone's come up to you and said, "Oh, come on, Russ, give us the 180"?
I don't know. Pretty much anywhere you can think of, someone's came up and asked me. You've been in the loo or something, or the toilet. Various places. I can't think of anywhere in particular. In the middle of Tesco's, I suppose, something like that. It's airports. I was one time in Germany. I put my passport through to the guy that does your passport there at customs, passport control. And he looked at me and, oh, voice, wait there. Which, I mean, obviously I couldn't go anywhere. He's got my passport. He came out, got his photo out of the booth, came round the side, took a picture with us, said, could I do a 180? I done a 180. He went back in the booth, stamped my passport, and I went through. So, you know, you got some weird and wonderful things like that, I guess.
Good times. And yeah, a few questions from our listeners, and we've got a few questions from people that you'll know very well before we let you go. And the first one comes from Ollie. He says, do you or callers in general ever get nervous up on the big stage?
I don't think so now. I think we look forward to a game as opposed to get nervous. No is the answer from my perspective, and I'm sure it's the same with the other boys. You look forward to a game as opposed to get nervous. Done it too many times. You know, when I first done it, of course I got nervous. You know, that's oh dear, you know, your heart thumping in your ears when I first done it. But it's something you get used to. So when you get up on the stage there, you look at the crowd and think, wow, this is great, this is fantastic. Can't wait for the game to start. So no, don't get nervous, not these days.
That makes sense. And Squeeze wants to know, do you prefer calling quick players or slow players? And do players you've been calling for years still surprise you?
Right. I much prefer to call the faster player, and the reason I do that is because I have to concentrate more. I have the concentration in general of a gnat. Honestly, I am terrible. And if you've got a slow player, I will stand there and throw his first dart. I think, oh, well, I'm going to have a Chinese tonight. He'll throw his second dart. I think, yeah, we'll have king prawn curry, I think. Special fried rice. Throws his third dart, 100. Then and my mind drifts. My mind wanders. With the quick players, you can't. You know, you've got Gary Anderson playing Michael Van Gerwen. Everything's rat-a-tat-tat that quick. That's where you tend not to make a mistake. I tend to make a mistake with slow players as opposed to quick players. So that's quick players. The quicker the better for me.
And Tristan wants to know, will you get more time to see the Mighty Hammers when you step away from full-time refereeing?
Oh, I hope so. I've got a lot of good friends down there. I know the press officer and all the rest of it down there. So, you know, I can pop down there quite a few times. And it's lovely because you do something at the the training ground as well, out there in the back end of Dagenham. And, you know, I know some of the players in that sense. So that I will be doing as best I can.
And John Thompson says, do you think it's possible or desirable to get back to a stage where we have some semblance of the best of order from the crowd?
I think it's what it is now. When, you know, it's exciting as well. It is exciting. The majority of it is exciting. It's a lot of noise, a lot of bands. It's party time. It's happy time. You know, in all honesty, the players themselves, in general, it doesn't really bother them because you've got a constant noise. It's only when you get one clown that decides he wants to whistle at a certain time, you know, or one idiot that wants to call out. In general, you know, when you've got to stand up the darts and all that, and going on about the tables and that, it's just a general noise in the background. So I don't think it bothers. You know, it certainly don't bother most players. That's for sure.
And the next one comes from someone you'll know, John McDonald, who says, talk about his time as a high jumper when he beat Daley Thompson.
Goodness me, now we're going back many years. I used to compete for the Met Police Athletic Club and Thurrock Harriers when I was a youngster. And Essex Beagles was the club that Daley Thompson used to belong to. So he used to do long jump, sprinting, high jump, everything, because obviously he ended up becoming a decathlon. But this is back in the early days. Daley's about a year younger than me, I think, something like that. So they used to have a magazine called Athletics Weekly, and we done a tournament every other week in the British League, and we competed against Essex Beagles most weekends or most times. And in the high jump, it says first in the results, first Bray, I think it was 195 or 2 meters, I can't remember. Second, Daley Thompson. So turned Daley Thompson over. High jumping, bearing in mind Daley Thompson was, you know, fantastic at 10 events. I was okay at 1.
Well, still a great achievement. And we've got Gary Wood. He's got 2 questions for you. He says, ask Russ about the fantastic room we shared in the International Hotel in Beijing, and why did we end up staying there?
Right, we was actually doing the Shanghai Masters in Shanghai in China. And we flew to Beijing. A big group of us flew to Beijing and then went up the Great Wall of China. Well, when we come back, we got back to the airport, but the weather was so bad they cancelled all the flights. So we had to stay in Beijing before we could fly out to Shanghai in the morning, back to where the darts was. So everyone, the airport was in absolute chaos. It was riotous. It really was. But we managed to get booked into the Beijing International 5-star hotel. And me and Gazza Wood, who was one of our markers at the time, he now runs all the Pro Tours at Barnsley Wigan. Lovely lad, one of my best mates, that's for sure. We shared a room in this Beijing hotel. We get there in the end. It was absolutely dreadful. The place was. Kept our clothes on, didn't have a shower or anything. Kept our clothes on because it was so bad. And the reason it was a 5-star hotel was because you could see all the stars out the roof of the ceiling, the room and that. It was absolutely dreadful. It really was. But he had to get us out. It's the only place we could stay. It got us out of trouble. But well, we did laugh, and even it was funny because even the young lad that shows you to your room and everything, he knocks on our door about an hour later. He said, "I won't be here in the morning. I've come for my tip." And it was just all this sort of thing, and the where you could buy some sandwiches and things like that. I was just behind the curtain. Honestly, it was the most incredible. If anyone, Beijing International Hotel, look it up on Google or wherever you could fit it, because it was unbelievably bad.
Gary's second one, he says, when we did the very first South African Masters in Johannesburg, what happened when Russ called game shot on the match and glanced over to the scoreboard?
Right, as I say, Gaza was my marker on stage, and it was South African Masters, I can't remember what year, and we stood there, and Gary, where he's writing, the guy that actually won the event was a guy called Waynard Havinger, or Vinant Havinger was how he pronounced it. But of course, we're going through, boom, boom, boom. He's hit game shot. I turned around, game shot, and the match. Looked back to see what his name was, and Gary had written it off, rubbed it off. So I thought, oh no, I can't remember his name. I've got game shot. And the match, and didn't he do well, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, mate, it was so funny. It was so funny. As I say, totally. Where Gary had written his name, I couldn't remember his name. It was we did laugh a bit afterwards. Tony Baynard actually, so we was okay.
And the last one, you might have to bring this up with him when you see him later. It comes from Wayne Mardle, who says, "Ask Russ why he's such a bang average golfer."
Well, I'll tell you what, I've turned him over a couple of times so we can reverse that. Why is he losing to a bang average golfer? Nah, he's a great kid. I'll tell you what, I've known Wayne since he was 9, so we go back a long way. And but to be fair, Wayne's a very good golfer, and we try to, as best we can, once every maybe 3 or 4 weeks. We'll meet within an hour of each other. Have a round of golf, go out, have a bite to eat, and then obviously nip back home. But and also when we're away, we're in the Wolverhamptons and all the things like that, Blackpool and that, we'll go out and have a round of golf. As I say, he's a good kid, he's a good golfer, and but I do turn him over every now and again.
Happy days. Well, Russ, it's an absolute pleasure to chat to you. We appreciate you taking out the time and wish you all the best with your last World Championship and what else is to come in 2024 as well.
Alex, thank you very, very much for having me on again. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate all the questions everyone's put in and all the people that have followed me and support me over the last 27 and a half years. Thank you very, very much.